Welcome back to the penultimate race of the season. This time we will be in Brazil. Obviously no sprint race. They do not have it on this game. I'm not sure if when you change the rules, regulations, if you can add it. Because I have actually had a look. And let's see if we go to rules and regulations. We go to like sporting. Some of this stuff can change. So you can change pole position bonus points, fastest lap, double points. It's similar to Motorsport Manager, if any of you guys are familiar with that game. And essentially, I'm assuming next season we might get asked. You could get asked to change any of these things. So maybe we'll get asked pole position. Do you want a pole position bonus point? All the teams will vote on it. If it's in favor of yes, then there'll be a bonus point for if you get pole position on a race weekend. So I think that's a kind of cool thing. I was just looking over this. And that's what things can change. Obviously, we have seen that the rear wing, the front wing, underfloor, and the suspension is all changing for 2023. So it'll be interesting to see if we get any sporting regulations at the end of this season for next year, or potentially next year for the year after. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Okay, so we do have the hours and the wind tunnel, so the CFD hours and the wind tunnel hours back, which means we can do some more upgrades for next season's car, or research for next season's car. So we are currently doing the underfloor. We did the rear wing, we did the front wing, so we're going to do the suspension now, and we're going to look into the suspension just to get some more upgrades in. So how long's left actually on the underfloor? How long have we got left? 11 days. Is that 11? No, that's let's see. So if we go current projects, we've got 16 days. Okay, so let's do some research. We'll go suspension, and then we'll do quite a bit of research on this. And then after this, we'll do some more research on something else in 16 days when we get the other research coming in. So we're going to put quite a bit of hours into this for the suspension. I think that's about good enough. And like always, we're going to focus on the high speed, medium speed, and low speed, as those are the three that's getting changed for next season. So we're going to put heavy focus into that. We're going to continue. We'll get quite a few engineers. We'll get 5 engineers on that. And it'll be really interesting to see where our car is next season, because I'm not sure if we started this research too late, because we are still fast. I'm not sure if anybody else is upgrading their car still at the end of this season. So it'll be interesting to see where we come in for next season. We've got scouting complete. We're just looking at potential race engineers for next year. Sebastian Vettel. We've got 1 month left. Vettel is a driver that we're looking at. He is one. His salary 14 million, buyout fee 1 million. He's 82 rated, so that's a little bit of a downside. I don't know why he's so low. I think he should be at least 85 on this game, but I guess because of his age, they've lowered him. Pierre Gasly is another one. This would probably be a better buy. He only has 1 month left on his contract. He's about half the price as Sebastian Vettel, and he is open to negotiation. So Pierre Gasly might be a driver we go for at the end of the season. Obviously, we'll let Mick run his course in the contract, and then we'll sign someone else. But we've got options. We've got Bottas. We've got Gasly. We've got Vettel. And we're just scouting a bunch of drivers essentially to see if they want to come and what their salary demands are. All right, so quite a few drivers are taking grid penalties this weekend, which is good news for us. We don't have to take any more grid penalties at all for the rest of the season. We already got through that, and we're in Q1, and it's looking okay. A little bit risky for Mick Schumacher, who's definitely got to go out again and probably improve on his time. So we're going to send him out. As one of the last ones. Also going to send Kevin Magnussen out as well. They're on used tyres, so we won't have to worry too much about that. Is it going to be close towards the line? I'll tell you what, it is pretty close, but we do make it, and we're safe across the line. I'm sure Mick Schumacher is going to have to improve, as he's complaining about his tyres overheating. Sonoda goes up ahead, so Schumacher needs to find time, but he is not doing that right now. He's had a poor middle sector as well. You can tell his tyres are overheating. He's about 5 tenths off his teammate, Kevin Magnussen. I think Mick Schumacher's gone here. Mick Schumacher is going to be knocked out in Q1 as he comes across the line. Yes, he has. He got his new chassis as well. So he's got the exact same car as Kevin Magnussen. So not too much excuse being 3 tenths behind. Magnussen only P13. Maybe this just isn't the track for us. But look at the amount of grid penalties that we have. The setup confidence wasn't great, to be fair. Well, I tried getting it right. I couldn't get it right. So that might have a bit of impact. Daniel Ricciardo is out the session. Oh, I was like, hold on a second. He's gone. Let's see what he's done in qualifying. He comes around and he just goes straight into the wall. And he's broken the car, so he's had to come into the pits. Or he probably didn't even make it round to the pits. But he is out of the session. So at least we're in the top 14 with Kevin Magnussen. We're about to send him out for his one qualifying lap right about now. Maybe no one else went out. No one else did go out. We were waiting for other people to go out, but no one did. I think we're going to get to the line. So I think everybody else only has one set of softs. They've already done their lap. We've waited till the end of the session to do ours, and we're going to cross the line at exactly the perfect time. This is really, really weird. Is it raining? Oh, it's supposed to rain in 2 minutes. It might rain towards the end of his lap, you know. This is going to be interesting. So that's probably why everybody's gone out, just in case of the rain. We weren't aware of this. Leclerc is out in Q2. Same with George Russell. Same with Yuki Tsunoda. Now, it's our job to try and knock one of the Alfa Romeos out as well. So those three must have got held up on their laps. We could be in to Q3 here with Kevin Magnussen if he puts in a good time. And 18.7 through the first sector is not a bad time at all. 34.8, I think that's pretty decent as well. So Kevin Magnussen, no rain has come just yet. He could be into Q3 as he comes across the line. Oh, he's P11. He's missed out by the tiniest of margins to Valtteri Bottas. But wait until the end of the session, timing it perfectly, gave him the best chance. And up to P11 he goes with a bunch of grid penalties. He'll surely be starting in the top 10, maybe even like the top 7, top 8. So not an awful qualifying. And let's see if we can get those 3 more points this weekend to get us up to that 200-point mark, which would be very, very good news indeed. It is supposed to just be a cloudy race, so no rain expected. And what sort of strategy do we go for? Do we have... I think we have a... Do we have an extra set of softs for Mick Schumacher? I think we do. Do we go softs, hard, mediums with him then? Just to try and get him off the line quickly and get a few overtakes. I think that might be the way to go. So that's what we're going to do with Mick Schumacher. We're going to go a little bit different for Kevin Magnussen. We're going to go mediums, and then... Or medium, hards, and mediums. We want him to be on a little bit faster tyre towards the end of the Grand Prix. I'm sure there'll be a safety car or something happening in this race. There has been in the last couple races. I mean, last race in Mexico was absolutely crazy. We had, what, 3 safety cars in 15-20 laps. It was pretty crazy. But we're here in Brazil, Sao Paulo Grand Prix. I didn't actually see where my drivers are starting. I should have actually looked. But with all the grid penalties, you never know nowadays. And it looks like Kevin Magnussen is on the 3rd row. So starting P6 for Kevin Magnussen and P10 for Mick Schumacher, who is on the soft tyres, and we want him to be really, really aggressive off the start. And we also want Kevin Magnussen to try and hold on to that P6 ahead of the Alfa, or ahead of the Ferrari actually up ahead. Lost out to the Alfa Romeo and Valtteri Bottas. So you got Kevin Magnussen dropping a place, Mick Schumacher right in the scrap. Let's ride on board with Mick. He's got Sebastian Vettel up ahead in the Aston Martin on the medium tyres. That is a driver that we should be able to dispatch of pretty quickly. And you've got Leclerc on the softs as well, and Daniel Ricciardo also on the soft tyres. So keep an eye out for those on getting the overtakes done. It is very, very important we get past this Aston Martin though, because this Aston Martin isn't really that quick. And if we can't dispatch him quickly, we'll be stuck behind. But Mick Schumacher gets the job done on the opening lap of the Grand Prix, which is very important. Now we've got the Alpine of Fernando Alonso up ahead, which we're going to look to get a move done early doors, as well as Mick Schumacher closing in on the Alpine. He's going to try and go around the outside at turn 1, which turns into the inside and then to the outside again. Can he get the move done? There's no DRS, remember. Unfortunately, he cannot. So we'll have to settle behind the Alpine for now. But hopefully we can get a move done soon on him as Kevin Magnussen goes down the inside of Valtteri Bottas. Perfect time to switch. Maybe K-Mag will be in a hunt with the top 4. We know he likes getting in the battle for the podium, especially if a safety car comes out. So maybe Kevin Magnussen can have an outside shot at a podium if we get a safety car in our favour. Or maybe we might see our first red flag of the series. Who knows? I was just about to say, Magnussen is in his own little world, and he locks up, and he's going to drop right to the back of the grid. So, main focus on Mick Schumacher now. Magnussen, he's just sat there. Come on, mate, get going. I hate how they just sit there. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at it. I've already saw it. I was riding on board. He was about 2 seconds clear of Alonso, and he was settling in P6, and he does that. Magnussen basically screwing his race over, and now he's got to try and claw his way back into the race to potentially score points. Schumacher, on the other hand, up into P8. Let's see if he could be the one to get us across that 200-point mark for the season. So Mick Schumacher is just holding on. I was saying just holding on to P9, and he drops a couple places. So Schumacher now down into P10. His tyres are starting to go away a little bit. Magnussen climbing up the order a little bit. He's up into P17, but he's got a big job to do if he wants to get into the points. Schumacher in his own little world, just sitting behind these two up ahead who are battling. They are on the medium tyres, so their tyres are working much better than Mick's right now. His pit window has opened. We're going to try and do a couple more laps with him and then pit him. Just to get through these tyres as much as possible, although he is not doing much better. We have had a crash on track, and the safety car is out. Okay, so that's perfect for Mick Schumacher. We are going to bring him in to the pits. So here you go. Bring him in. We put on the hard tyres? Yeah, so we'll put on the hard tyres for Mick to go with his strategy. And you know what? We're going to do the same thing with Magnussen. We're going to bring him in, put him on the hard tyres, and we could potentially put him on the softs later on in the Grand Prix. But if we put him on the hard tyres, we'll take the free pit stop while we can. I want to see what actually happened. It's Tsunoda. There's another AlphaTauri. The AlphaTauri had an awful time in Mexico. They got crashed into both times. I think it was no fault on their own. This one is definitely the AlphaTauri's fault as he goes flying into the wall. You can't even see him. He's gone out the circuit, for goodness sake. So Yuki Tsunoda crashing, bringing out the safety car, helping both Mick Schumacher and Kevin Magnussen, because now Magnussen can basically claw his way back into the grid. Ricciardo can't go past the safety car, so he's been lapped pretty much. But Magnussen, Schumacher, both will be able to join up to the back of the grid. Were we the only ones that pit, really? I know Ricciardo did, but he's at the very back. Let's see who actually pitted. Leclerc pit onto the hards, we pit onto the hards, Magnussen and Ricciardo. So this is basically a free pit stop. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? This is perfect. I forgot to tell my drivers to harvest DRS and basically relax on their tyres, but it doesn't matter. We're at the back of the grid now. Schumacher's caught up. Magnussen has just about caught up. So we're in this train as the safety car is coming in, trying to recharge as much as possible for Kevin Magnussen. But we're ready for the safety car restart, and away we go. I'm sure a bunch of people are going to come into the pits as Latifi does. Schumacher P15, Magnussen P17. We don't really need to do anything. We could just relax behind these cars. And then when they pit, we'll say see you later, because they didn't want a free pit stop, apparently. So they're on a different strategy. And away we go again. There is a big gap. If you have a look at the interval, Magnussen to Hamilton, it's 12 seconds. So we've really gained a big advantage by pitting under that safety car, and a bunch of cars didn't. So we're looking very strong indeed. And right now it's a 2-3. Leclerc did pit. So he's running away with this, and this is crucial for his championship. Verstappen down in P9, Sainz in P4, and we've got a 2-3 right now with Sainz hunting us down. So we're going to try and take these tyres as long as possible and pit them onto the mediums, maybe the softs for Kevin Magnussen if we can take them longer than expected. We're going to try and get a few more laps in for Mick Schumacher here. If you can get a few more laps in on these hard tyres, it'll be crucial. So we've got the Alfa Romeo closing in as well. The Alfa Romeo's closing in, so we must have been doing some pretty poor pace with Mick Schumacher in front as Sainz gets past. But Guan Yu Zhou is closed up to the back with around the same percentage as Magnussen. I mean, Schumacher's been pushing a little bit, but his tyres must be dying. Kevin Magnussen would basically tried to preserve his tyres so he can go into the softs at the end of the Grand Prix. But these whole train of cars has caught back up to us, so we could be in a little bit of trouble. Verstappen did come into the pits, and he's got a bit of clear air to try and make that comeback drive. But it looks like we're going to lose a couple of positions here. We've already lost one to the Ferrari, and next to the Alfa Romeo. All right, we're sticking to our guns.
Perfect, Mick. Let's get back up.
Come on, Mick. So we're going to pit Mick this lap. And now we're going to get Magnussen going a little bit. So we've saved a lot of his tyres just so he can essentially go onto the softs at the end of the Grand Prix. And we could go a bit of a different strategy to Mick Schumacher. Mick Schumacher is going to come onto the mediums at the end of this lap as he's just lost out to the Alfa Romeo of Guan Yu Zhou. But he's going to push him all the way to the end. If we can get an overtake just before the pits, that'll be absolutely perfect. But it's going to be very, very close, actually. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to. We're not going to have enough DRS straight, and it'll be a bit risky to go for an overtake before we go into the pits. Or are we going to go for it as we think about the inside? But Zhou comes into the pits as well. Maybe we should have gone for the overcut strategy. I wish there was an option to say do whatever he doesn't, as Zhou comes into the pits, and so do we. Let's see if we can get a better pit stop. Here's Guan Yu Zhou's point of view. Can we get out ahead? Put on the tyres, lads. Get him out. No, we can't. So Zhou gets out. We've actually lost another place to Perez. So it's been a slow pit stop from us. 5 seconds stop time. Not ideal. Mick Schumacher will not be happy with that one. Oh, well, he's not on the team next year. But let's see if he can put in a good outlap as Kevin Magnussen is still going on those hard tyres. We're going to try and go a couple more or a few more laps with him. And then we'll go a few more laps with him, and then we'll try and pit him onto the soft tyre. So he's lightning quick towards the end of this Grand Prix. Oh, Mick.
Understood, Mick.
He was in a point scoring position. He's basically screwed that one up. Mick Schumacher locks up. Kevin Magnussen, we should probably pit him. How long do the soft tyres go on for? Will they be dead very, very quickly? I mean, if we pit him this lap, he'll be on them for 15 laps. I think now's the time to do it for Kevin Magnussen. So we're going to pit him right now onto the soft tyres, and then he's got a job to do to close up to the cars that are going to be in front of him. So lost out to the Red Bulls. We knew that was going to happen, but Guan Yu Zhou is probably the target for Kevin Magnussen. We can get past Norris and Alonso as well, but he's going to drop behind all of those cars as he comes out of the pits. Is he going to drop out behind Alonso, or can he get out ahead? It's going to be pretty tight. No, Alonso gets out ahead, so that's a little bit frustrating. But if you have a look at the tyres, I think we're the only ones on the softs. They're all on the mediums. We do have that tyre advantage, but we've got to make the most of it as soon as possible with Kevin Magnussen. Mick Schumacher is probably going to lose a spot to George Russell as well. And I don't think anybody else in the top 10 has to pit. So Mick Schumacher basically screwing his chances for points. If Magnussen gets P8, remember, we do reach that 200-point target. So that'll be very, very important as Vettel has spun. But let's see what Magnussen can do. He needs to close that gap to within a second. And then we can get DRS and make that move on the Alpine. So it's not working out for Kevin Magnussen right now. He's really struggling with pace on these soft tyres. I thought he was going to be a lot quicker. Mick Schumacher is somehow holding off Ocon and George Russell, and he's doing a very, very good job at it indeed. But Kevin Magnussen is not closing that gap out up ahead, which is very, very frustrating. And now the mediums seem to be the better tyre. And I'll tell you what, Magnussen is in his own little world. He doesn't have the pace to close in on the cars up ahead. Lando Norris and Fernando Alonso are a bit too quick. Unless they start battling, I think it's going to be P9 for Kevin Magnussen. Which is a little disappointing, seeing where we were after the safety car. We pitted and we thought it was going to be spot on. Schumacher might not finish the race unless we careful with his fuel. So we're going to make sure we conserve the next lap or two just so we can get to the end of the Grand Prix. And it's going to be pretty close. We've had a crash on the track. Is it someone in the top 10? If it's someone in the top 10, we could potentially get that 200-point mark, which we really wanted. But I'm not sure if it is. It's Guan Yu Zhou. He is in the top 10. Is he out of the Grand Prix, or does he, or can he still go around? As he comes around, he locks up. He loses his front wing. Did he manage to keep going? I'm not sure if he did or not. It looks like he has. So, Zhou has continued to go on. He's got one more lap left. Can Kevin Magnussen find the pace to overtake him? Because he's continued to stay out. Lando Norris is closing in big time. So, he's got a severe lack of pace right now. Has Guan Yu Zhou. You got Alonso also going past.
2 laps
or trying to go past. Zhou is trying to hold on for his dear life. Kevin Magnussen could still finish in the top 8. He finishes in the top 8. We reach that 200-point mark, which we set for ourselves. And Zhou is going very, very slowly. Tyres are quite bad, but Guan Yu Zhou doesn't have a front wing, K-Mag. This is crucial. We could get to 200 points at the end of this Brazilian Grand Prix as we look for a move on Guan Yu Zhou. We get the move done up into P8. Zhou has really, really screwed himself at the end of this Grand Prix. I'm going to see, is he going to stay in the top 10? It's going to be very, very close, actually, as Ghazi and Russell go past him. Zhou has dropped out of the top 10. Guan Yu Zhou did not finish within the top 10. He's absolutely screwed it. Kevin Magnussen, on the other hand, oh, there's still one more lap. I didn't even realise. So there is another lap. We're not done just yet. So we've got to tell Magnussen, just preserve those tyres a little bit and stay ahead of Ghazi as Mick Schumacher finishes at P13. So Zhou stays ahead of Mick Schumacher. He got lucky that they got lapped. Whoever finished in P11 is not there, apparently. So I don't know what's happened. Was it Daniel Ricciardo? I don't know who was there. But anyway, we're still at the end of the Grand Prix with Kevin Magnussen. He should be able to comfortably come home in P8 and get us to that 200-point mark, which he's going to do. Oh, it's... Who is that? Who is that stopped on the track? I have no idea who that is. Was it... It looked like a Red Bull for a second. I have no idea which car was stopped at the finish line. We're going to run... Was it... We're running the ball with Zhou, who's about to come across. Trying to see what type of car that is. But I genuinely can't see. I can't see. Maybe we need to find a better camera angle. As Bottas comes around, can we see which car it is that is stopped right there on the track? Is it an Alpine? No, it's a McLaren. It is the McLaren of Daniel Ricciardo. So he missed out right at the end. Maybe he ran out of fuel or something, but he couldn't cross the line. So Daniel Ricciardo couldn't finish on the final lap of the Grand Prix. Or was it the final lap? He did 67 laps. I have no idea what happened. It was a McLaren stopped right at the end. Maybe it was Lando Norris. I have no idea. But anyway, Kevin Magnussen finishes P8 and gets us those final 4 points to put us to 201 points. So we got to that 200-point mark, which we set ourselves a goal of. And it's been an unbelievable season, really, for Haas. Magnussen still ahead of George Russell, 9 points clear of him now. So if he can finish P6 in the Drivers' Championship, that would be really, really solid as well. It looks like Mick Schumacher is going to finish P10, which is going to be a fantastic year all round for Haas. Once again, we forgot Jack Doohan in Practice 1, but I am going to remember to put him in Practice 1 for Abu Dhabi. I promise you that. If I forget, I'll be really annoyed. But I will remember. All our drivers have got up 1 rating because we did do the upgrade them with the development points that we've been getting. So good to see our drivers upgrade. And I reckon Jack Doohan could be a driver for the future as well. He's already got up to 74. Mick Schumacher did go up to 77, but we all know his days are numbered. If you did enjoy this episode and you're ready for the season finale, go ahead, leave a like, make sure you comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Oh, and subscribe. Peace.